Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I am Susan, your hostess, and this is my live for the month of February. I'm so excited to be here today with each and every one of you. We're going to begin our show letting you know that we have intentional living going on in our house, and our intentional living for today is a gift. Use it wisely. And the Bible verse is Psalm 90:12. I'm going to go ahead and read that, get that out of the way. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. And, you know, wisdom comes from the Lord, so we want to use our wisdom from Him and not from man. So that is my intentional living for today. I'm looking forward to seeing who all comes into the chat today. I've got a bunch of cards set up, y'all. We got a nice full session today. I hope that everybody is doing well with this frigid weather. So we're going to get into some of the things here in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and do our shout outs, our member shout outs. Whether you're paid or you're gifted a membership, you're still important to me. Whether you don't become a member, you're still important to me, but it is nice to have some channel members that support you. Triple Threat Firearms and Defense, Smoky Mountain Blessed, Aerial Viking Venture and Victuals, Artist Storyteller Donnie, The Stock Explorer, My Alabama Farm Life, Gail's Southern Living, Mona Did What, Leonard 530, McKay 235, Life in the Piedmont, Steadfast Selections, Renee 5869, Legal Minded Friends with Karen Cole, Janice Urfer 325, Lewis Acre Farm Karma, The Bud Files, Hedgehogs Homestead, Rena LaRue 6988, and Mary McCoy 6303. So we gifted 10 memberships this morning, and I really do appreciate each and every one of our channel members and our channel friends as well. Good morning to our treasured home. That's Miss Nancy. I'm going to get your names written down. Kim Burris, how are you doing? It's so nice to have y'all here. If you'll do me a favor and just share this out on your community tab or social media, that will bring other folks in, and we would appreciate that so very, very much. I don't do lives as often now, so I'm hoping that I will build up a better audience this way. We'll try it and see how it works, and if it doesn't build up the audience like I want it to, I may do away with my lives altogether and just do them once in a blue moon. Who knows? But we do have a lot of wonderful things going on in our country right now. There's being a huge, massive cleanup in Washington, D.C., which I'm extremely excited to see what becomes of all that money that they're finding. Our tax dollars from over the years, and it was funneled into pockets and so forth. And I'm not going to get all the political stuff, but wouldn't it be nice to have some of that returned to us so that we could actually have spending power in our nation and have a say as to what we want in our nation? I like the fact that we do have a very open president this time around that is very open and upfront and honest with us. So I'm looking forward to see what all he brings. Now, we may not agree or disagree with what he's doing, but, he is our president. So we're going to be praying for him, for J.D. Vance, for all of the elected officials from Congress all the way down to our local politicians, and then for those that are being appointed. And some very crucial appointments are coming up today. And also things that are going on in our Supreme Court that is very, very interesting. I do get into watching the political thing. I've been doing this for a few years now. I really got involved in politics when Obama was elected because God was giving me dreams and visions of what his presidency was going to be. And I do believe that it was really a pivotal point in our nation. And hello, Rudy with autism. I'm going to put you down on my list. Rudy, I'm not into counting today because I've got a lot of numbers in here. You'll have a lot of fun with that. So one of the open collaborations that I'm doing is a challenge. It's a Frugal Living Challenge 25. And I'm pairing it off with the intentional living that I'm doing. The intentional living is just a playlist, but it is also something I'm doing on a daily basis. And my verse this morning was Psalm 90:12. I read it a while ago. Today is a gift. Use it wisely. That's my, today I will use my gift of life today. And I will use it wisely. So this is what I do every day. I do a Bible study in the morning, and I do prayer time to get my day started. Today it was cold outside, but we're going to get into that in just a minute. Get back to what I'm going to be talking about. We've got rapid high prices going on. Eggs were $5 to $8 a dozen in our area. Pet food prices are skyrocketing. Somebody told me on one of their comments that they just paid $70 for dog food. Unbelievable. Many seniors are living on fixed incomes. So intentional spending is more than ever. You have to be careful with every penny that you have. And don't just go out and frivolously spend money when you don't have to. So with this challenge, you're going to learn to cook from scratch, stretch ingredients, and use what you have on hand. You're going to become self-sufficient if possible. Barter when you can. Hello, my friend. I don't understand your language, but thank you for coming in. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull your channel up real quick. And it's not going to let me do it on this one, so I'll do it on this one. This way, I don't want to remove you. There we go. I have to be careful because I don't want to remove anybody. Okay. You have a 1.77K subscribers and 557 videos. That is awesome. 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 And if you want to drop your link, you will type in the word Hillbilly. It's Hillylly, Hillylly, Hillbilly. And that will drop your link. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some of your video here. You've got a lot of shorts on here, but I'm going to grab your 42-minute one. And I'm putting it on my watch later list, so you'll get some watch time out of me sometime during the week. I do my watch time every day, and I try to give back some thank yous to all the channels that watch my channel. So thank you so, so much for coming in. So the word you need to drop is Hillbilly. Hillbilly to drop your link, but I'm going to go ahead and drop it for you since I'm on your page. Let me get over here. Well, I was on your page. Let me go back and grab you again. I'm going to grab your link so everybody can go check you out. And let's see. There we go. So your link should be popping up, and maybe people will come over and friend your channel and you can friend them back. We encourage you to wait a few days between friending because the one-on-one trade-off on YouTube is frowned upon. So they don't want you doing that. But I don't mind friending channels that come to visit me. And I try to go around and watch everybody that I possibly can. I can't always get to everybody, but I try to. So with this Frugal Living Challenge 25, we're going to learn how to shop smarter, maybe discount groceries, gardening, clearance shopping, look into homemade pet foods if you have pets, become a minimalist. I have trouble with these big words now. To your needs versus wants. Learn to downsize, reuse, and repurpose. Use your faith in God. Hard times don't last, but small habits do. So we want to include that. Inflation to motivation, become self-sufficient, learning new skills, power of the homestead mindset, and I ask you to start small. So that is the Frugal Living Challenge 25. That is a year-long challenge. Make sure that you're tagging my channel and using the hashtag Frugal Living Challenge 25. I think it will drop in Nightbot. So that is one of our collaborations for this channel this year. I also am doing a giveaway for vintage crochet magazines and pamphlets. The rules are it's not affiliated with YouTube. It's lower 48 USA only. We are not responsible for lost or damaged packages once they leave my hands. We do have animals, so just be aware of that. I'm not responsible for your allergies or your medical bills. Must be a friend of my channel, must leave a comment for entry on the entry video. And it is in my playlist, so you need to go look for that video. Comment with the word crochet if you intend on entering, and do not use the word crochet if you don't intend to enter into that giveaway. Make sure you're liking and sharing out the giveaway. That is a rule. Share it out. Like it. Hey, Rooted in Texas, welcome in. And I ask you also, even if you don't crochet, maybe you have some followers that do crochet, I want at least 100 entries with the word crochet. And right now I'm sitting at 6, and I've only got about, a week and a half left before the end of the month. So we want to make sure that we're getting the word out that this is a giveaway. I have 90, at least 90 crochet magazines and pamphlets. Some of them have to do with Barbie doll. They are wonderful vintage crochet patterns. To buy them new years ago was very expensive, and now to buy them it's even more expensive. I'm destashing, so I want to get them out of my house and into somebody's hand that actually does crochet. The giveaway will be March 5th. Giveaway is March 5th, and the packages will be out by April the 1st. And of course, it'll be mailed media, and I'm paying for every package that goes out. There will be 5 to 10 or more, depending on how many people participate in this, crochet magazines and pamphlets. You must be present in my live to win. That is an absolute must, and it is something that you will have to do. You will email me your mailing instructions, and you must contact me within 24 hours. And of course, there's a few other rules. You can go read it on that. You can go read it in the playlist, and you can read it on the actual video. Hello, New Horizons Above and Beyond. Welcome in. I don't know. I think you might be a new channel to me. Let me check real quick. No, I am subscribed to you. Good. While I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a video and get it into my playlist. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying something new because I struggle with this, trying to keep up with everybody. Hello, Blackberry Rock Homestead. Welcome in. That's Miss Luann. She has 2 channels. It's Blackberry Rock Homestead and Luann's Kitchen. Okay. New collaboration that's coming up in the month of March is March into Canning 25. It's open March 1st through the 31st. It will be showcasing freezer clean out, great sales on meats, vegetables, and fruit. Get freezer ready for the garden season. Clean your pantry shelves, dehydrate, do dry good canning, fresh or frozen foods canning, rebel canning, but you must explain why the recipe is safe. Organization, removing jars that are no longer usable, etc., etc. You can also do videos on canning equipment, maintenance, and storage space. Use the hashtag MarchIntoCanning25 at my channel name, which is the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch, and use the official playlist in the description box below. And with that one, I'm going to share out Miss Luann's March into Canning Madness. I don't know if she's doing this on Luann's Kitchen or Blackberry Rock Homestead. She didn't specify in the email. Hey, Troy Sutton, welcome in. We're praying for you, buddy. She's doing March Canning Madness 25. It is an open collaboration for March. You will need to email Luann for the available dates because hers is a closed one. Mine is open. BlackberryRockHomestead@gmail.com. And I wanted to add that in there because they kind of go hand in hand, and you can actually do both of them at the same time. I don't care, and I'm sure Miss Luann won't either. And that way, both playlists will have your video in there. So when people come looking for canning recipes and equipment and so forth, they will have a place that they can go and just pull videos and watch them. So that's the whole idea behind this. I woke up to -1 wind chill, and it was 13 degrees this morning. Thankfully, my husband went out and let all of our birds out and made sure that the water was broke up for me and fed them before he went off to work. So that was a nice blessing for me, but I have to go out every couple of hours and check for eggs because when the eggs freeze, they bust. And so I thought I would talk a little bit about frostbite this morning in our topics today. Yeah, and you can, Luann said she had -10 this morning. You can drop your weather by typing in weather with your zip code, and it should pull up the weather. I thought I'd talk a little bit about frostbite because frostbite is on everybody's mind that's dealing with these frigid temps. Early stages of frostbite is called frost nip. Did you know that? I didn't. It causes a cold feeling followed by numbness. And patches on your skin will turn shades of red, white, blue, gray, purple, or brown. The color of the skin depends on how serious your frostbite is. A cold, hard, waxy look to the skin. You may experience pain. You may have blistering after warming up. Common on fingers, toes, ears, cheeks, chin, the tip of the nose, and other exposed areas. You need to seek emergency help. If intense pain after taking a pain reliever and warming. You may have intensive shivering, slurred speech, drowsiness, or trouble walking, and all of those are extremely important for us to understand. Let me go on to the other side. I think I missed somebody coming in. I just want to double check. If I miss you coming in, do forgive me because I am reading off a card and I am not seeing it. We are actually getting North Pole winter winds right now. So all of this cold air is coming directly from the North Pole to us. And I woke up also with it snowing outside. We had a little bit of snow, but we had sleet. So it was freezing rain and a little bit of snow, which made it icy. So my husband was off work yesterday. And that video will be out actually tomorrow, where I'm mentioning him in there because he was home from work. Today he got to go to work again because we had such a little amount of snow. In the South, they don't do the roads correctly. They will lay down a salt brine before the first snowflake even hits, which creates black ice. I have told these folks this time and time again. They will not listen. They continue to do it. And it also tears up the pavement when they do that, among other things. And they need to go back to using a salt and sand mixture on the roads and stop using the brine. They're trying to save money, but they're actually causing more damage than good. And they don't do the side roads in the county or in the city. And we pay taxes for all of this. And I'm kind of perturbed about that as well. Ooh, 27 degrees feels like -3. Wow. So when you're going outside, you need to dress in layers. Everybody knows this, but you need to dress in layers in loose-fitting clothing, not tight-fitting clothing. You want to limit your time outdoors. I think they say within 30 minutes you can develop frostbite, serious frostbite. Wear a hat, gloves, socks. Don't drink alcohol because your body gets thrown off and you don't realize that you have frostbite. Eat a balanced meal, stay hydrated, and keep moving. So that is all about frostbite, and there's so much more you can learn online if you just go and read about it. I learned some information every time I go somewhere and do a little research. So this was just a little morning research for me. But we're going to get into the topics of this live here just in a moment. So the opposite end of the frostbite would be what? Heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion, I actually witnessed a friend of mine. We were at a powwow. She was dressed all in leather. It was in the 90s with a humidity level was above 80, I think. It was 75 to 80% humidity. You could actually cut the air with a butter knife. I mean, it was just thick. And she was dehydrated. She started sweating profusely, and then she couldn't sweat. She had a little delirium where she didn't know what she was saying or doing, and she passed out. So that's another medical emergency on the other end of the spectrum. And that is very common in the South in the summertime. So we get the real hot, humid days down here. And so you want to make sure that you stay hydrated and you dress appropriately. Wearing all leather on a very hot day is not the smartest idea. They had the powwow outdoors. A lot of times they will have them indoor in air-conditioned rooms because of the amount of regalia that they have on, and the weight of that regalia is very, very heavy, especially when it's beaded. So they spent a lot of time putting together their regalia pieces, and they're absolutely stunning when they get out there and do their dance. The dance is actually, most parts are considered prayer. You'll see women with prayer shawls. dancing, the jingle dancers, or a medicinal healing dance. Then you have the men's categories and so forth and so on. And it's just a beautiful array of different styles of dances, different tribes all coming together to celebrate. And I really enjoyed those days. I wish I could continue to do those. I cannot because of my lupus. I cannot be out in that sun for that amount of time anymore. Okay, let's get into the topic. Minimum wage through the years. Let me take a drink of water. In 1933, a National Recovery Act established the first minimum wage, but later it was ruled unconstitutional. And so in 1938, the Fair Labor Act set the first federal minimum wage at 25 cents. That was 25 cents an hour, which was equivalent to $5.41 in 2023. So you can just imagine. You know how far $25.41 will go right now. Not very far. And it was started by, I have to find my notes, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Let me see if I can find where it's at. Franklin D. Roosevelt passed a part of the Great New Deal to protect workers during the Great Depression, and minimum wage was set at 25 cents an hour in 1938. Another issue was the child labor. Some American children worked as much as 60 hours a week. We can't even get them off the couch now. And I'll go back and talk some more about that in just a moment. But I thought I would bring that up. We really did not have a set wage until 1938 in this nation. Can you imagine living off 25 cents an hour? Let me do a little math because I can't do it in my head anymore like I used to. Let's see. I got to move me out of the way. So if you worked a 40-hour week, you brought home $10. Can you imagine? That's what they lived off of in 1938. And they were more than likely a one household income. And a lot of the businesses up until around I'd say around 1990, really wanted to stick to that minimum wage. They didn't want to pay you a dime over minimum wage to help you to survive. So it's really important for us to understand this. The next major minimum wage hike was in 1968 at $1.60 an hour. Total minimum wage was today the minimum wage is $7.25 per hour, and that was set in 2009. So I'm just going to go through some of the years of what a minimum wage was. And when you go back and you look at the price of food and things like that, you kind of understand that it looks cheap today, but it was not cheap back then. October 24th of 1938 was when the 25 cent an hour was implemented. In October 24th, 1939, they raised it to 30 cents. October 24th, 1945, it was raised to 40 cents. So they started out, they were going to do it yearly, and then they got a big gap of time. In January 25 of 1950, it jumped from 40 cents to 75 cents. March 1st, 1956, it went to $1 an hour. And there was an amendment in 1961 which held at $1 an hour. But September the 3rd, 1961, they raised it to $1.15 an hour. September of 1963, it was $1.25 an hour. September 3rd of 1964, it was $1.15 an hour. September 3rd of 1965, it was $1.25 an hour, and that became the amended wage per hour. Pretty interesting to know that minimum wage was so small back in these days. And I grew up in the 60s, so these were the wages my dad was probably bringing home at the time. I think our rent for years was around $50 until we had to move. The lady actually sold the house out from under us, and we had no choice but to move. And our next rent went from about $50 a month to $200 overnight. That's a huge jump in rent. February 1st, 1967 was $1.40. The amendment was for $1.40. And then February 1st, 1968 was $1.60. And y'all, it was meant to be raised every year to match the inflation in our country, but they didn't do that. Jumps to May 1st of 1974, so you've got, what, 6 years? It went to $2 an hour, so they raised it 40 cents. In 1975, on January 1st, it went to $2.10. And then January 1st, 1976, it went to $2.30, so we got a 20-cent an hour raise. January 1st, 1978, this is 2 years later, it jumped to $2.65 an hour, and it was $2.65 an hour for all non-exempt workers. So they've changed the verbiage. Hello, McKay, welcome in. Y'all, I'm not paying attention. I need to go back and see if anybody else has come in. And then January 1st, 1979 was $2.90 an hour. And again, the amendment was $2.90 for all non-exempt workers. Now, this is not all the different wage per hours, because there's over the road and just all kinds of different wages out there. January 1st, 1979 was the first year that I held a job, I believe, and it was $2.90 an hour, and it was $2.90 an hour for all non-exempt workers. So that verbiage continues on even today. In 1980, it jumped to $3.10 an hour, so that was what, 20 cents? Yeah, we're going to get into the rent. January 1st, 1981 was $3.35 an hour. April 1st, 1990 was $3.80 an hour. So that was what? 45-cent raise. April 1st, 1991 was $4.25 an hour. October 1st, 1996 was $4.75 an hour. September 1st, 1997 was $5.15 an hour. And then we had a big, long lag of time that passed. July 24th, 2007. It went from $5.15 an hour to $5.85 an hour. That's what, 70 cents? July 28th, 2008, it went to $6.55. And then our last minimum wage income, July 24th, 2009, was $7.25 an hour, and it has remained there. And this is 2025, y'all. Tip wages is $2.13. And the idea was that they would be paid this if their tips was not an equivalent to minimum wage. It's never changed for anybody that receives tips. Can you just imagine trying to live off that? I was a waitress, and we had to report our tips for tax purposes. And a lot of times that paycheck didn't even come from the $2.13. And we had to make ends meet. Kind of a slave to your wages. My definition of job is journey of the broke. So 20 states have indexed for inflation, meaning that they have raised their minimum wages in their state to kind of curb off the inflation that the whole nation is suffering from. And the 20 states are Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, South Dakota, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and Washington, D.C. 7 states have no minimum wage law, or a minimum wage below federal minimum wages applies to these states. So minimum wage below the actual federal minimum wage, there are some businesses that can get away with that, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But those states are Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Wyoming. Aren't I lucky to live in one of those states? 30 states and District of Columbia minimum wage is higher than the federal minimum wage. And these are Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, New Mexico, Ohio, Oregon, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and West Virginia. And the highest minimum wage in one of these states is $17.50 an hour. Must be nice. So that's just a little bit of what our minimum wage is all about. And y'all, they did this initially to help people come out of the Depression. But what has happened with minimum wage is it got stagnated because of all the red tape in Congress. And it was not being focused on. They had other priorities that they thought was more important than how people were making ends meet in this nation. They forgot about the people, we the people. And so since, what was the date on that? 2009, we've had a minimum wage of $7.25. I'm not a big proponent on raising the minimum wage. However, with the way the prices are in the stores, it makes you wonder how many people have fallen through the cracks and are living on the streets because they no longer can pay rent. They can no longer afford a car. They can no longer afford groceries, etc., etc. And this is not including the non-working population. This is just the working population. And how many of these households only have one income? That's the other question. At some point, it became almost impossible, and I think it was during the late 60s, early 70s, for a family of 4 to live off of one income. Before that, they were able to live off one income. Another thing is, we didn't have taxes in this nation early on, and maybe I'll do another live on the taxes in our nation, the history of that, how that came about. They actually ran the government without taxing the people for a long, long period of time. How did they do that? It's a very, very compelling question. Hello, Janice Urfer. Let me see if I missed anybody in chat, because I've been yakking up here. I haven't really been paying attention. I think I'm pretty good. So, the cost of living in 1970, this is an average. This is not, the whole spectrum of buying a house would have been $23,600. Hey, Stitching It Up. Welcome in. Welcome in. And you may be thinking, well, why is she talking about this? What has this got to do with frugal living, et cetera, et cetera? But the thing of it is the economy affects all of us. And so when we understand why our economy is like it is and why we're having inflationary recession and almost depression prices, it's just craziness. And that's why we do frugal living on my channel, to teach people how to live a meaningful and abundant life on a little bit of an income. We went from being a 2-income household to a 1-income household to a no-income household, back to a 1-income household. And during that period of time, I ended up disabled and was not able to work, and struggling to even get Social Security started of any form. Was a 2-year process. Unbelievable amount of time that I had to go through, and I had to hire a lawyer on top of that to even get approved for SSI. Hey, Back to Basics Kitchen. So, telling y'all all that, during that period of time where we were down to 1 income, we had one of my daughters living with us. My husband's parents were living with us, and his sister, husband, and 3 children moved in with us. So we ended up having 8 more mouths to feed in a house with 1 income. Nobody was working, just my husband. We created a 4,000 square foot garden in my backyard. I literally fed all of these people in my household, plus people in the neighborhood that were struggling out of that garden. I didn't just me, but me and my husband did a lot of couponing during that time period, because at that time you could get double and triple coupons. Certain days you could get triple coupons. And we would stockpile, and we stockpiled groceries. And we bought our meat at the local meat market to save money. There was you get a piece of meat on your plate. It was usually everything was one meal. Occasionally you might get a piece of meat on your plate. And would you believe that I actually had people in my house balking because they didn't like what they were being fed? God forbid I didn't fix everybody what they wanted to eat that day. But they learned very quickly that I lived by the rule that I grew up with, is if you don't like what I put on the table, you don't eat. And one of them decided they were going to go out and they were going to go to McDonald's or somewhere. And they came in. They haven't had any money to give us any money to pay for having a roof over their head or utilities or anything like that, or being fed. And they came in with everybody and their family getting something from this place to eat. And I looked at them, I said, you didn't think about the rest of the people in this house? What about the rest of us? all this time we've been feeding them, get this, but they were so self-centered and selfish that they didn't think about feeding everybody else. That didn't last very long with me. I am very, very strict about this. I believe that if you can't work, you don't eat. I grew up with that. I grew up with that mentality. You work for what you get. And I appreciate you stitching up as long as you can. I appreciate that so much. So I grew up with that mentality that, you know, if you brought something in the house, you shared with everybody. But if if you can't work, you don't eat. I became disabled. I still had family in my house that we had to take care of. And I was taking care of a sister-in-law that was dying for a little while. And it was very rough. I mean, I would go in there and turn her in the bed and literally go into my room, lay down on my bed with pillows underneath my legs, trying to get comfortable because I had already ruptured two of my disc in my lower back, and I had 2 herniated discs in my lower back. Didn't know it at the time, and lay there and cry because I couldn't move. I would try everything. I would lay across my bed with my feet dangling off the bed. I tried all kinds of exercises and so forth. If you're disabled, I understand that, and you can't take care of yourself. But there are things that everybody can do to some point. In my household growing up, my job was to help my mother with household chores, whether it was hanging laundry, taking laundry off the line, working in the garden, dusting, doing windows, moving furniture, mopping, stripping, and waxing floors. I had a job from a very early age. So that work ethic was there. Yeah. McKay, see, you got it good. You got a brother that's been staying with you for 2 years. He's helped you tremendously with your fixer-upper. So he's working on your house for his rent, basically, food and rent. But these people weren't doing anything. Literally, they came in and they were mooching. And don't get me wrong, I love each and every one of them. But as a Christian, I did what I was supposed to do. And I told my husband later on, I said, we cannot keep allowing everybody to move in on us. We were still young newlyweds. We hadn't even had a time period for ourselves alone as a couple until after my children were grown, to get to know each other. We were just kind of thrown into this situation. So when you look at the income and everything, and I can tell you that I was making minimum wage for most of my jobs up until I went to college. And then lo and behold, my first job coming out of college was working in a bank as a teller for $6 an hour. Then I got up to $7 an hour, and then I moved down here, went back to a couple of banks to apply, and it was $6 an hour again. And I'm like, I was adding up the figures, and I said, I can't even afford to pay the rent. So I had to come up with a solution, and I ended up working a lot of jobs as a temporary until I finally fell into some positions of management where I was being paid not by the hour. You know what I'm saying? It was a set income. And I knew exactly how much money I had to spend and what I could spend it on and so forth and so on. And I literally was still just squeaking by, raising 2 daughters on my own. So hardships, I know. So frugal living, I know. And that's why I did this challenge, because I think that everybody needs to be able to figure out how to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and carry on when things really get tough. And y'all, we're early on in 2025, and we're going to get hit pretty hard, probably for a few months until everything kind of smooths over, with the tariffs and different things that are president is going to set into place to try to encourage these companies to move back to the United States and pay taxes so we don't have to. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of that. So y'all, get ready for all of that. So the median cost of a house in 1970 to buy was $23,600. Rent was only $108, y'all. $108 in 1970. My dad was paying less than that. He's paying between $45 and $50 at that time. Education, 4 years of university was a total of $1,542. You can't get through a semester without paying at least $1,500 to $3,000. Unbelievable. That's today, and it's probably even more than that. Out-of-pocket health care per person was $297. And I remember we didn't have health care insurance back then. We paid out-of-pocket. Office visit for my doctor was $20. Then, whatever else they did, the blood work, and if they gave you a shot or something like that. So that was wild. Gas prices in 1978 was 70 cents a gallon. That's not that far away, y'all. So now the cost of living for housing, a median house to buy is now $370,600. And y'all, it's not much bigger than my house that I'm living in now. Thank God my house is paid for. We live in a double wide mobile home. It's paid for. Rent, median rent is $2,000 a month. Unbelievable. Education from 2021 to 2022, I couldn't get any for 23 or 24, was $11,400 for 3 year or 4-year university. Unbelievable. Yeah, tiny homes paying up to $100,000. Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah, it is a dream to have your house paid off. I was so thankful that we were able to purchase our house with cash. We got a better buy. We went with HUD. We went with a fixer-upper. And we went with country. We didn't want to be in the city anymore. We were tired of city life. And just crazy prices. Out-of-pocket health care today. Now, this is out of your pocket. This is not including your insurance premiums. $1,514 a person. And our insurance premiums for the month for my husband and I at his job is over $800 a month. That's what we have to pay to even have health insurance. Unreal. And then on top of that, it's $1,514 per person. Gas prices in 2022 was $4.70. Thankfully, we haven't hit $5, at least not here. I think Arizona did a few times, but it's just crazy the prices that we're seeing right now. Along with what was going on with Franklin Delano Roosevelt, there was another act called the Davis-Bacon Act in 1931, and it was considered racist because it was leaning more towards white people than people of color. In the 1980s, 1990s, many companies went to part-time workers only to get around the requirements of having to do benefit packages such as health care insurance to cut the total cost of the business's wages packages for full-time workers. So they would not hire you full-time. A lot of people were working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. One person working 2 jobs. And then you had to have two incomes coming into the house. So you're talking 4 jobs to make income enough to pay your rent. When I was growing up, your rent should have equaled 1/4 to 1/3 of your income. Hello, Sarah, the Yarn Fairy. Welcome in. Get you on my list. Just to make ends meet. I forgot what I was talking about, y'all. So these companies were only hiring part-time workers, so they didn't have to give you a benefit package. And then they started, well, we're going to hire you part-time, but you have to pay for your benefit package. I've seen that too. And the full-time workers were just few and far between, and usually they were management. The only ones that got full-time were management. And still, they wanted to pay minimum wage or just a little above minimum wage. Yeah, I worked for Dillard's too. I know what Dillard's did. A business that makes less than $500,000 a year can pay less than minimum wage unless it's involved in interstate commerce, a hospital, a school, or a government agency. So there is a loophole that they can get away with paying less than minimum wage. Now we're going to get into the cost of food. In 1970, a gallon of milk was $1.32. In 2023, a gallon of milk was $4.34, and those are the averages, y'all. Big difference in how much milk costs today. And y'all remember during the 80s, we had the recession and milk prices went way up, over $2 a gallon, and people were balking. Just craziness. A dozen eggs in 1970 was 60 cents a dozen. The average in 2023 is $4.82. And of course, we know today a dozen of eggs, depending on where you live in the country, can be $8 and above. Here locally, it was $5 and change, and that was at Aldi's. I think Walmart had them for $8 a dozen, and my daughter said that they bought a 30 count and paid over $20 for a 30 count of eggs. Driving up prices for eating out as well. You can't get a good breakfast for under $10. Crazy stuff. Yeah, $8 a dozen. And bacon was 85 to 95 cents a pound. In 2023, it was $6.65 per pound. And I think now for a pound, it's about $10 a pound for bacon. A burger was 18 cents. You could go out and get you a burger for 18 cents. I'm not sure what the price was on hamburger meat in the grocery store, but in 2023, it was $3.70 to $4.15 a pound. And today you can pay as much as $15 to $16 in a restaurant for a burger and fries. Yep. What we used to pay for a steak. And actually more than what we used to pay for a steak. In 1970, bread was 70 cents a loaf. And now in 2023, bread is $1.96. And it's actually more than that. I think it's about average is probably about $2.50 for a loaf of bread. Luann said, I remember those days. 18 cents for a burger. Soda was 10 cents for a small. Yeah. And I remember going to Crystal's in the 70s, and I could get 4 Crystals, a fry, and a drink for $1.50. I think the crystals were 4 for $1. And sometimes they would have a special and they'd be 6 for $1 or 5 for $1. Toilet paper, tax paper, y'all. In the 1970s, now we used to get the Scott brand and we'd get them 4 for $1. But it could be as much as $1 a roll. Today, in 2023, it was $7.91 for a small package of toilet paper. Unbelievable. I don't even know what it is today because we buy the multi-pack. Most of us buy multi-packs now. But you got to also remember the toilet paper shortage coming out of Cavovo and all those things that's happened with train derailments. And now we have planes falling out of the sky. And all of these things are driving up our prices along with the gasoline prices. You can't get nothing for $1.50 these days. Isn't that the truth? That is absolutely the truth. Now I'm going to talk about 2024 prices. The average price for a dozen eggs is $4.95. Milk is $4.10. Bacon is $7 a pound. And again, all these prices have gone up since then. Hamburger, some places are paying $10 a pound. Oh, a burger out was $10, and per pound it was $8.25. Bread was $1.92 per pound, and toilet paper was $22. And that was for the big pack that we were buying. The cost of living today, who knows? I know we're not making ends meet. I'm pretty sure most people are not making ends meet. Out-of-pocket health care per person now, $14,570. That's not including your insurance. That's not including your insurance. That's what you're paying out of pocket. Gas was $3.28. That was the average. Housing, to buy a house, $495,750. Rent, $1,556. That was the average. And I didn't even find anything on the education. It was just craziness. Craziness. So that's all I have. I thought I would just share all of that with y'all today. So in comments, tell me what you're doing to cut corners. McKay says, I can only afford discounted meat. I just got Euro 10 individually packaged for $3 and something, normally $9. Yeah, we do a lot of discount grocery shopping. Thank God we do gardening. Hey, Nature Loves ASMR. That's Miss Joy. You're never late, Joy. You're never late. Remember that. We buy all of our meat from our local meat source. It's all organic. I think they finally raised a pound of ground beef, the 80% to $5 a pound. And it's more than that in the store. I mean, so it's cheaper for us to go to our farmer guy, our rancher guy, and get our meat. We've culled our own chickens. We've culled rabbit in the past. We have friends that hunt wild game, so we've had deer given to us. To get it processed, I think we paid $120. Now, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what my husband says. It's between $80 and $120 per deer. Gardening is absolutely the cheapest way to go. Freezing, canning, and dehydrating. Initially, you're going to pay for your jars, your canners, but in the long run, it's actually going to be cheaper because you're only having to replace the flats and occasionally replace the bands as they rust out. We raise turkeys, chickens, and ducks. The last 2 years, we have gifted one of the Amish families a turkey. And we do a lot of bartering. We got all of our cedar that we're going to be doing baseboards with by bartering with eggs down there, because at the time their chickens slow down, ours is still producing. So we had an excess amount of eggs. Hey, Smoky Mountain Blessed. Y'all excuse me. I got a little bit of a belch going on. So we will be bartering eggs with any number of people. We also gift eggs to a lot of people that are on fixed incomes. We have never raised our egg prices because we know that eggs are so exorbitant in the stores, and a lot of people are on fixed incomes. We give eggs to a lot of senior citizens in our community. When the egg prices hit $5 to $8 a dozen, we had several people come to us and say, do you have extra eggs? And how much are your eggs? And a lot of people are telling us, well, if it's $5 in the store, you need to be charging $4. Or if it's $8 in the store, you need to be charging $7. No, I'm not going to charge that much more for our eggs than we've already been charging, because we're trying to help other people out. We're blessing them, and we don't want to take that blessing away from them, because food is life, and we know that. Sarah says she's planning on starting a garden. She wanted to do one in the past, but with husband's health, she didn't get it done. I'm going to build raised beds with pallets. Husband doesn't want to dig up the yard. I don't blame you. And Sarah, what we did is, if you live in the country, you might be able to find a cattle farmer that has the mineral buckets. They're big. I think they're about 3 foot wide and about 2.5 feet deep buckets, and you can drill holes in the bottom of them and use them as raised beds as well. We have used tire rims. We have used the inside drum out of a dryer. We've used bathtubs. You can find all kinds of things that you can make into raised beds without having to build them. So you want to do things like that. We did a 3x3 pallet bed when we lived down in Memphis, just a little 3x3 area. It was just a frame to frame it out, and planted like 9 tomato plants in one and 12 stalks of corn in one. And I forget what we had bell peppers in one. I forget what all we planted on. Okra. I think okra was the other one. Bukus of food out of that little 3x3 foot plot. And of course we dug up enough of a hole to put the seed in, laid some plastic down, put the seed in, put the little frame around it just to hold the plastic down. And that worked really, really well. Craigslist is very good, McKay, for free items. You want to do the free markets as much as you can. A lot of times you can go pick up bricks or pavers, or those concrete blocks work really well for raised beds. Hey, P&J, welcome in. That's okay. We're glad you're here, P&J. That's Paula and Jason. Rudy, I do watch the Vineyard Chicks. I don't get over there as often as I like, but I do love the Vineyard Chicks. They're sweet, sweet girls. So here's the plan for this year. If you're new to gardening, buy your seeds, buy organic seeds. And the reason I say buy organic seed is when you harvest this year, you're going to save seed back from whatever you planted for next year. You're going to dry it yourself. I store mine in the freezer in those bubble wrap bags, the plastic ones, because we live in the South. And you'll have free plants next year. So you pay once and you'll have free plants the rest of your life if you do it the right way. So who doesn't like free groceries? I know I do. Soil amendment. You want to check your soil. I'm going to be doing a soil test on a future video because our land is 90% sand and we only have like a 10% spot in our yard that is actually good to grow anything in. Back to Basics Kitchen says, if you are in the country where you have to drop your garbage to a local center, get to know the worker there, let them know what you need, and leave a phone number. That's actually very good information. And we also take eggs to our garbage disposal center because most of those men that are working there are senior citizens, and they appreciate anything that you give them. So we do that occasionally, if we have an abundance of eggs one week. Right now we have 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 12 dozen of the BB red eggs. They're putting out like mad right now. So I'm going to be probably pickling some eggs here. I need to get off here in the short and pickle some eggs and put them in the refrigerator. I don't put them on the canning shelf. Resourceful Living Homestead. Welcome in. So that's just a few ideas. I'm going to go back over my challenges and my, let's see, Crochet Magazine's collaboration. Oh, 2K giveaway. Y'all, I reached 2K finally. It seemed like it took me forever. It actually took me about 3 years to reach it. Hey, Storyteller Donnie, welcome in. And so I'm going to be doing a 2K giveaway. Donnie and Joy are going to be gifting one of Donnie's original paintings. And I am working on pulling some items from Amazon, actually, and I might do a couple of items from me for the giveaway. And I've also got another giveaway that I'm doing. So this one will probably fall after I do the Crochet Magazine giveaway. Y'all go to that video and share that out. Please, 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 because I need more people to be involved in that. So it's vintage magazines and vintage pamphlets. And I know there's some crochet Barbie doll clothes for those that like Barbie. I wish I had had these patterns when my girls were little because they would have loved them. P&J, you absolutely can. Just drop me an email and let me know, and I'll get it written down so I won't forget. That way I'll have everybody's gifts. But yes, anybody that wants to donate, absolutely, because that's a great way to get your channel name out there and maybe get a video put up of whatever the prize is that they receive if they're a channel. So, I mean, it's just a wonderful time. But, it's open to the U.S. lower 48, and it can be anybody with a channel or without a channel that can win a prize. So the crochet magazines, I have 90 of them pulled, y'all. You have no idea how many magazines I have back in there. And they were all gifted to me at one point. But I'm never going to get to all of these patterns to do. But there's a lot of people out there that would appreciate some vintage patterns. And that challenge or that giveaway is for the Crochet Magazine's giveaway. When did I say I was going to do that? March 5th will be the giveaway, and then all the packages will be out by April 1st. So probably after March 5th, I'll do the 2K giveaway. I haven't set a date yet. I've been kind of talking back and forth with my husband because finances are tight, and I only get a little bit of money off of YouTube, and I use my YouTube money for YouTube and for projects that we need to get done around our home. So that's what that money goes for. Thank you on the congratulations. Janice Urfer, make sure you go over there and you use the word crochet in your comments so I know that you want to be a participant in it. Now, if you're not participating and you watch the video, don't use the word crochet in it, and I'll know that you're not entered. And you will have to contact me within 24 hours to win. You have to be present at the live. I'm doing that on purpose because that brings your numbers up on your lives. And I know that you're a real person. You know what I'm saying? Because we get so many spammers. This way I know for a fact that you're there. I'm doing a new collaboration for the month of March. It's called #Marching to Canning 25. It will be open March 1st through the 31st. You will tag me in it. You'll use the hashtag and put the official playlist in your description box. And it can be anything to do with canning. It can be showing canning equipment, how to maintain your canning equipment, ideas if you're buying groceries, if you're recanning, store-bought groceries, whatever it is. If you're a rebel canner, you need to specify why you feel that the recipe is safe that you're sharing, and use that disclaimer on that one. You could even be in there just cleaning pantry shelves. You know what I'm saying? Pulling off things that are maybe no longer any good. You're new. Tell me about the crochet giveaway and where is the video to learn. The crochet magazine giveaway, let me see if I can pull it up over here, and I'll drop the link. That will make it easier for you and for me. Let me get over here to it. It may take me a second, y'all. And I've been posting it in my About section. There it is. Share, copy. Okay, I'm dropping the link to the video. So you can go to that video and put in your information, and all the instructions, the rules, and everything is in the description box. Some of them are in the video itself. The giveaway will be March 5th. My packages will be mailed out by April 1st. Everything that I mail out from that one will be mailed media, which is cheaper to mail. Y'all know that the United States Postal Service keeps raising their price of stamps. I think it's 73 or 75 cents a stamp now. Crazy prices. You must be present in the live to win. You must use the word crochet in your comment when you comment if you're interested in the giveaway. And I'd like you to share that out, because the more people that come, the better the giveaway will be, I think. And it's going to tell me whether or not I need to do the rest of my books, because I have a ton of them. Just saying. I have crochet books. I have quilting books. I have a few knitting books left. Just a lot of general craft books and stuff. And I'm cleaning out because I've got to make space for all of my cooking books. Y'all know how it goes. And I won't ever get through all of the crochet magazines, and I'd rather share them out with people that would enjoy them than to sit here and hog them to myself. Farming Nature's Way, welcome in. I'm going to go back because the March canning, also there's another collaborator that's doing a separate closed collaboration. I thought I wrote it down on this one. I wrote it down on one of these cards. Hang on a minute, y'all. You can be so organized and still not be organized. Okay. Blackberry Rock Homestead, and I'm not sure she's doing it from Luann's Kitchen or Blackberry Rock Homestead, but she's doing a March Canning Madness 25. It is a closed collab for the month of March. You must email Luann for available dates at blackberryrockhomestead@gmail.com. And y'all, she does a lot of different collaborations on her channel as well, her channels. So y'all need to get involved with Miss Luann. The last collaboration is the Frugal Living Challenge 25, which is a year-long collaboration. It goes along with my intentional living that I'm doing as a playlist. Because of the rapid prices, high prices, and so forth, many seniors live on a fixed income, and intentional spending has become necessity more than ever, and less of the I wants, you know what I'm saying, things that aren't necessary are becoming harder for them. So frugal living is going to be mainly focused on the seniors, but you know, we got young families out there that have no clue as to how to manage money, how to manage a household. So we're going to be offering skills like learning how to cook from scratch, stretching ingredients, use what you have on hand, how to turn a recipe. You may not have all the ingredients to a recipe, but you want to use a recipe, what you can substitute, becoming self-sufficient, if possible, barter and trade when you can, how to shop smarter, shopping discount groceries, gardening, clearance shopping, looking into homemade pet foods, becoming a minimalist versus needs. Needs versus wants. Learn to downsize, reuse, repurpose. Use your faith in God. Hard times don't last, but smart habits do. So it's inflation to motivation. Become self-sufficient. Learn new skills. Power of the homestead mindset. You're going to start small. And that is a year-long open collaboration. And I think I saw somebody sneak in the door. Hello, Adrian with Indiana Backyard Gardener. Get you down on my list. So those are three of the collaborations I've got going on, plus one that Luann is doing. One of them that's coming up, well, two of them coming up in March. So y'all get involved in these. If you don't want to get involved with it, just share out the links to the collaborations when you see them pop up, so that helps other people see it, because y'all know that small channels do not get shared out as much on YouTube as they should. So when we're sharing it out on social media or in our community page, we are actually helping one another. So that's why we do that. Learning how not to use credit by growing your own food, etc. Exactly, Team Jesus Ministers. There's so many ways that we can become frugal and use our mindset to live abundantly within our means. So we have covered quite a bit of stuff today. If you like this type of live, make sure that you're giving me a thumbs up on the way out. Maybe leave a comment under the video when it pops up. Again, share it out if you think I have given some information that somebody else in your community might appreciate. because we're here to help one another. And you can always drop your links on my channel. Use the word Hillbilly. Whenever you see new people in the house, you want to drop your links so that you can go and connect. And I do appreciate each and every one of you for spending a little time with me this morning. We've been here for almost an hour and a half. Can y'all believe that? I've been talking that long. Oh my gosh. No wonder my mouth is dry. Intentional. Let me say this again. Hang on a minute. Intentional living. Today is a gift. Use it wisely. I thank you, friends, for watching and coming in and being a part of this, and definitely talking about all of the wonderful things that we can do together as a community. I really appreciate that, Janice. Thank you so much. We're going to be warming up. It just hasn't happened yet. Y'all, I have daffodils blooming outside. Would y'all believe it? It's 13 degrees outside and I have daffodils. And I got to find Adrian's comment. I know I haven't used the comment thing. Definitely going to be preserving on purpose this year. So definitely get involved in some of our collaborations that has to do with food preservation. I know Adrian is going to be doing the seed swap this year. So get over to her channel, find out what you need to do to get involved in that. There's a lot of great open collaborations that are going to be happening throughout the year on my channel as well as others. Y'all go check out those. We got 2 giveaways coming up. The Crochet magazine and pamphlet giveaway, and I'm going to be doing a 2K giveaway probably sometime in March, and have all those prizes go out in between each other. So we're going to be doing a lot of giveaway all at once. Just remember that, stay centered on Jesus. These times may seem rocky and hard for us to face, but God is our constant, so we don't have to worry about that. Thank you for that. Back to Basics Kitchen. Yeah, it's hashtag IBG Seed Swap 25 for Adrian's Indiana Backyard Gardener Seed Swap. You want to get involved in that. And just keep plugging along. Pull them bootstraps up, folks. You can do it. One small step at a time. Do it intentionally. Live for Jesus. Get your priorities straight in your mind and set your heart to it, because your family depends on you making those ends meet somewhere. I don't want to see anybody homeless or hungry. I really don't. I think that is the saddest thing in the United States right now, is to see homeless people on the streets and hungry people. We have no reason to be either. I'm trying to find all of your channels. Please message me if I missed you. Backyard Basics, drop your link by typing in the word Hillbilly. And anybody else that wants to do that before we close out, that way y'all can go and check out each other's links. I really encourage that, because we have the best homesteading community I've ever been involved in. And you learn something from everybody. Nobody has all the answers, but we all can find the answers through our communications. Learn to communicate. Now we got to wait for Nightbot to catch up. Now, if Nightbot misses you, just drop it again, because I think he struggles sometimes to keep up. I got 2 sleepy dogs over here. y'all. I put them both in their sweaters this morning. They're like, no, Mom, I don't want the sweater on. But when they go outside, they know why I put it on them because it is so cold out there. And I've got to go out here in a moment and I got to check for eggs because the eggs freeze when the temperatures are low like this. So we're getting them to come up slowly. Y'all keep dropping it. It'll eventually catch you up. Drop them one at a time. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. I just want you to know that if you have not been told today, you are loved. I love you, but Jesus loves you more. What can you do with your frozen eggs out in the chicken coop? Bring them in. If they don't crack, you can go ahead and open them up and put them in an ice cube tray and freeze them and then put them in a bag. And then you can pull them out for baking or cooking. Or you can scramble them and put them in bags and put them in your freezer. Or you can make a quiche. You can bake something. There's so many things to do. Yeah, it's 19 degrees now. The high is 23. Woohoo! You're having a heat wave, Adrian. Let me see what my weather is. Hey, Missy. Missy's channel in the house. So it's now 20 degrees minus 7 Celsius. Current humidity is 55%. Wow. Woo, 12 degrees in Ava. 11 degrees in Hinton. We have a lot of new people in the house, so y'all go check out all those links. I want to thank everybody for coming, and may you be fully blessed. Thank you, everybody. One homesteader throws her eggs out that she can't use in the field for cows because they harass birds of prey. Oh, Lord. You can also feed your eggs back to your chickens, y'all. Cook them up, feed them back, feed the shells back to them. It's not going to hurt them. Bye-bye. Have a nice week. I'll see y'all on the next one.